Migs versus Wayne. This is the one matchup that I've seen quite a few times. I know Migs actually took down Wayne in the World Team League at some point, but I feel like the last time they met did not go as well as that.
Yeah, exactly. They have gone back and forth over time, but here we go. They're going to be facing off once again, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Solaris, we have the blue Zerga player going for a 15-15 opener. Representing Starlight Twinkle, it is Wayne.
And up in the top right here, cruising through to that second round against No Mercy in the TVT. This is for Platinum Heroes, Vindicta.
Go, and yeah, an interesting opener out of Wayne. He's been a little bit fond of this opener. I think Shin, aka Ragnarok, he loves going for 15-15s in ZvT. I'm still not entirely sure as to like the rationale. Like, I understand that it's a little bit greedy, like you delay your gases and you rely on queen defense, you just drone as much as you can by skipping your lings. But yeah, it's interesting that a couple of Zerg players have like sprinkled this in every now and then.
Yeah, there's a couple variations of it. You don't have to get your gas late. I mean, most of the players are getting their gas around 22 supply, so it's definitely a little bit later than usual. But I think there's kind of not really too much reason not to do it. I don't think it gives you a big advantage, but it doesn't really give you that much of a disadvantage either, because you're skipping those lings to get to defend the Reaper with the Queen. So as long as you're not coming up against like low ground 2 racks or 3 racks Reapers that often, I think it's completely fine. It's probably better, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. As you mentioned, right, like, if we do have additional Reaper aggression, then things can get really scary and really tense, because you will be forced to make lings, otherwise Reapers can kind of have their way with you. But yeah, I'm not too sure if I've seen much of Migs go for the 2-racks openers, like the Beyond style. I don't know if he's really fond of it or if he's really, like, tried it.
He was before quite a lot, but I think these days, in his TVC, I'm mostly seeing him go for the just double gas openers into 2 factories and playing speed cyclone openings. It's something that we've seen a lot out of pretty much every turn, but I'm personally not that convinced by it. I think you lose a lot of eco, you have to do a lot of damage, but if you're mixing it up with some factory all-ins every now and then, I think it can be good.
Yeah, like nowadays I actually don't see, at the start of the patch we were seeing a little more Cyclone play. Nowadays I only really see it either if you're committing to mass mech, like, you know, Gubiho or Ryung or something like that, or we've seen Cure go for Cyclone openers instead of like, or Cyclone like Hellion variation openers to like gain map control, but no big commitments. So yeah, I'm curious if Migs whips it out again, if he does commit to like heavy Cyclone play.
Yeah, it looks like he's not actually going for the double gas. He is going for a 3cc build, so I'm pretty happy to see this. I do think against a player like Wayne, especially because he usually plays Roach Warren, and there we go, it goes down quite early. It would be a little bit risky to go for that kind of build just because you're not likely to get damage. Especially seeing that 15 hatch, knowing it's Wayne, it's very likely to be a Roach player.
Yeah, exactly. As we mentioned before, you know, with the later gas, we're skipping Ling speed, going straight into Roaches. So Wayne, he's one of the Roach boys out there, very Dark-esque in that way, and Migs is going to be respecting that. As you mentioned, they have a bit of a history. I'm sure he's fully familiar with his play style, and he is getting into that economic opener. Going for the add-on swap, should be getting to even Banshee play.
Yeah, okay, so it's going to be a straight-up 3cc Banshee. I do think this is a really smart build coming out. Oh, actually, Raven. That's kind of crazy.
That's wild, Bobby. Okay, so I'm a little bit concerned now. Like, Banshees would have been amazing. This position, the Roaches have been revealed, and immediately we cancel the Raven. Thank God.
Yeah, okay. Going for 3 bunkers as well. Yeah, I think he would have just died, to be honest, if he didn't see that. I'm very surprised he was going for the Raven. I feel like a player like Wayne, I mean, 15 hatches is made for him because it transitions so well into Roaches. But yeah, here we go. Banshee on the way, Cyclone's on the way as well. These bunkers, ooh, they're just going to finish up on time, I think. Nice little SEV pull just to make sure that does happen.
Yeah, we do pull them. We're going to be getting the repairs on these bunkers. Marines, they do get into those bunkers as well. This hold is going to be brutal, though, because SEVs are still getting picked up.
Yeah, that's a really well arranged set of bunkers there. The roaches, they can't really funnel through that one gap just because the Hellions are going to get amazing shots on them. And yeah, there we go. The Banshee has arrived. So great hold coming out from Vindicta, but I do think it's still going to be a very slight lead for the Zerg player here.
Yeah, I mean, forced an overreaction just because of the late scout, just because the Banshee was delayed as well. But as we did see, we probably would have seen a very different game if Mix hadn't seen the roaches when he did. So that was a really crucial moment for our Terran player, and now the game will be able to progress.
Yeah, there we go. So the transition's going to be coming out for the Terran player here, getting those extra gases, getting the extra racks as well. So this is just very standard stuff. It's a little bit delayed just because of what was going on there, but at the same time, I mean, the upgrades for Wayne are pretty delayed as well.
Yeah, exactly. It was a pretty committed push from him. Behind it, he's going straight into the lair. What's interesting to me is that even before Roach speed, by the way, we're going straight for the infestation pits. Going into Ling speed as well. So it looks like Wayne wants to try to transition out of Roaches. Otherwise, we would have seen Roach speed already. I'm hoping that isn't like an oversight or a mistake. So yeah, there it is. It's +1 melee on the way for Wayne.
Yeah, okay, so probably going to be Ling Bane, Roach Rav, and maybe some Infestors as well. We have seen a lot of players just mixing in 2 Infestors just to help keep safe from pushes, but no, it's actually going to be a very fast hive. That's really interesting.
Yeah, again, remember, like, no Roach speed. Like, we skipped it entirely, so we're going Ling Bane. We could even try to rush into Ultras. I'm curious if that's going to be the play here for Wayne. He is prioritizing that Rich Vesting Gas Geyser. He will have a lot of gas to work with.
Yeah, I think this kind of greed is completely fine as well, just because the transition and the timing of Vindicta is so delayed by that push.
100% as he is still stuck at home. Meanwhile, Hellions, they do get across the map. Drones are getting roasted. 6 workers do go down. Not too bad here. We're going to get maybe another shot off, maybe one more drone. Oh.
Yeah, great move from Vindicta, just recognizing that Wayne doesn't have Ling speed and doesn't really have Lings and is just relying on the Roaches for defense. This Hellions not going to be doing too much for the rest of the game, so really good move to just sack them for a few drones.
Definitely is. Migs is just getting into his production. Third base is getting saturated as we speak. We only committed to a single Banshee, so we have a little bit of map control here, just denying some of that creep, but I'm still really excited. I still am really curious to see what is gotten with this Hive, if we just get Adrenal or if we throw down some tech, because the Hive is now done.
Looks like we're going to be starting out with Vipers, and yeah, Ultra Den, as you said, so that's going to be very awkward to deal with. Vindicta just desperately pumping out Marine Tank to get back into this game. He is very delayed with his transition at this point, and he's really going to need to find out about this Ultra Gen as fast as possible, because he will not be prepared for it otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he hasn't seen the main base. He hasn't seen how fast the infestation bit was, how fast the Hive has been. He has no idea what Wayne is doing, and it's important just because it is so unorthodox, right? Like, the tech is throwing down all over the place, and we are just rushing into Ultras. Not a standard thing to do whatsoever, and still, Mix has only seen the Roaches and the Lings. He doesn't know what's coming next.
Yeah, he might be able to put it together if he notices that Wayne's gone for melee rather than range, and I know that is something he checks. He scans and sees the Hive, so that's very good information as well. I don't know if he's going to be able to adjust just yet, but what we're going to be looking out for is definitely for those next 3 Raxes to be going down so we can start Marauder production.
Yes, for the time being, still just Bio Tank, just Marine Tank is going for a double drop here towards the main. There's a lot of potential with this. There's no Overlords to scout, not yet at least, so Wayne is a little bit busy out on the map, and he's getting ready for his own push. The Vipers, they have arrived. Ultras are in production. Kindness plating is still a ways off. I imagine Wayne wants to wait, doesn't want to pull the trigger too soon, but here comes that double drop.
Yeah, Drop's going to be pulling back all the units for Wayne here. He doesn't want to take too much damage to this, and yep. Here we go, the Lings running on in, the Ultras are revealed, so that is fantastic here for Vindicta. This drop actually getting so much done in that regard.
Yeah, Liberators immediately are in production. The Ghost Academy is about to finish up. Marauders are on the way for a mix, so a quick transition. At the same time, that one Banshee from earlier does find a couple of drone kills here at the forward base.
Yeah, really nice attention to detail there. It's just going to be hold positioned there over the units, and yeah, Vindicta knows what he needs to do to quickly get together that kind of defense that he scrambled to defend the Roaches earlier in this game.
Exactly, as he's still getting more damage, by the way. Finally, the Banshee is going to be going down. At the same time, a little bit of mispathing here. A couple of Roaches are going to get picked off, and Mix, he's in position, throwing down some bunkers, getting the Sim City ready.
Yeah, those depots are beautiful. I love those depots just sitting there to try to block the ultras. We have gaps where lings and roaches can get in, but ultras can't get through, and the liberator should be able to plug in the rest of that. So that's, yeah, very clever stuff coming out from Vindicta.
Definitely. Here come the freedom zones, the fourth base soon to be taken. As we take a fourth, we're going to be exposing ourselves a little bit more, and something that we haven't mentioned is the creep spread. Because of the map control, because of the advantage that Wayne had earlier, creepers all over the place.
Yeah, really nicely done. Wayne's just going to be running in and out, just stopping this fourth from getting set up here. And that's pretty much all he needs to do at the moment. Vindicta's going to be very turtled up.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I was about to say, where are the Vipers? The Vipers just now rocking up a little bit too late, so we got a couple of tank shots all for free, essentially. But Wayne is looking for another way in. He's going to be rotating around. Does see the Liberator setup. We could try to hit the right-hand side instead. There's only one tank in position, but no, Wayne, he rotates towards the left.
Yeah, he just doesn't want this fourth to get started. He doesn't really have to do too much else, but all these tank shots, they are very good. They are catching the bulk of those banelings and the infestors as well. This might be a little bit of an overextension coming out from Wayne.
Yeah, exactly. Taking so many tank shots to the face. Big fungal on the bio army. He does catch some of those ghosts as well, but we're running out of steam. We're running out of ultras. There's two left.
Every ghost does go down. Big kiting coming out on these ultras, and Vindicta does pick up the rest of these units, but considering that he doesn't have a fourth landed, this might be too much damage.
This might just be too much. The boys have to be evacuated. Reinforcements are coming out. With these reinforcements, looks like we should have enough to deal with this. There's one ultra left, and it will go down. It will get sniped. Migs will hold, but he lost 13 SCVs.
Yeah, whole position versus ultra is definitely a dangerous game to be playing, but at the same time, he did get that double drop out across the map. Pretty clever move to go for. I mean, Marines are not going to be that helpful knowing that there's ultras, so he does send those double drop of the spare Marines across the map.
Yeah, exactly. Just now coming back home. He did get a couple of drone kills across that map, as you mentioned, but Lings are coming in to reinforce. The Vipers did survive. They've regathered energy, and there's 7 ultras in production. And as you mentioned before, the ghost count was reset. So these 7 ultras, they're going to be a problem.
Yeah, the problem here for Migs is that he wasn't able to land this fourth, so he's not really rich enough to be able to make ghosts. We do see throwing down a bunch of eBays to try to block this up, and it is going to be just a tiny bit too late. I feel like if that was a couple seconds later, it would have been extremely effective, but this is a great fight for Vindicta. There's just not really enough to deal with these ultras.
Yeah, the Balins, they do get knocked down. Big blinding clouds here as well in the bio army. The ultras, they're breaking on through. The tank line has been reset. Liberators are trying to siege up as well. Good target firing here out of Migs, and can he clean this up? He takes down one of these ultras, but there's still 3 left. Oh.
Yeah, the ultras being split in 2 different locations means Vindicta's only able to micro one of these groups. The bio in the bottom right does get decimated, but he takes out every single ultra, so that is not bad at all. That's going to keep him in this game. I would say that the 2 players are relatively even at this point, but it is so important that the gases on this fourth get started and mining.
Yeah, exactly. We need to get this up and running as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Wayne, these have been expensive losses, and now he's remaxing with Lings. Only 1 ultra. There it is. 4 more ultras in production, but these are a little bit late here, so Migs, he should have a little bit of room to breathe. He should have some time to recover. The Vipers once again did survive. They're regathering energy, and Wayne, oh, he's coming back. He wants more.
Yeah, Vindicta, he does see that this is on the way. The Lings, there's so many Lings, and the friendly fire from the tanks is brutal. The Ghost is not going to be able to get the shot that it needs on that Ultra before it goes down, but the Ultra is taken out. This is another effective hold for Vindicta, almost, but these Corruptors are trouble.
Yeah, exactly. The Marine count was reset. The tanks do not shoot up, and we reset the medevac count as a result. We go for the caustic spray on the planetary. Can we protect it? It looks like we should be able to. Reinforce us on the way. We do get the repair, and the planetary will survive. Migs holds once again.
Yeah, I think that might be the last hold, though. I don't know. I mean, he lost all the medevacs, all the liberators. Looks like actually going to be another angle being set up here. That Ghost is a little bit exposed. It needs to pull back. It is going to go down. That's a real shame. And yeah, GG is called. Just doesn't have the eco to keep up with these attacks by Wayne.
GG, well played. Migs, he was keeping up blow for quite some time there, was holding on, but eventually he was broken. As you mentioned, just was stuck on 3 bases for too long, took too long to get a 4th up and running, and he just could not keep up with Wayne.
Yeah, Vindicta was just very, very slightly behind from that opening, and never really was able to get back on top just because Wayne played that out pretty perfectly. I feel like the greedy tech straight to ultras is something that he could get away with because of the slight lead that he had. So that was just really good reading of the game.
100%. 100%. It's something that he was able to get away with, and Migs wasn't quite able to punish it. If you remember, it took a long time for him to recognize what was happening as well. I mean, it was a really good, like, kind of last-minute reaction against it, and Migs was able to survive for quite some time, but was never able to really get momentum and really get any damage across the map and force back his opponent. Wayne had full control of that map, had full control of that game almost.
Yeah. Yeah, Ultra Corruptor is something that we've been seeing more and more against Terran. Zerg players finally getting on top of the fact that, yeah, the Ultras, they're pretty good now.
They can be, definitely. And I want to believe here that Migs can fight back in this series. I want to believe that we can sink our teeth into a Game 3, into an ace match, but the pressure is on Vindicta here. Our next map, though, going to be on Oceanborn.
Yeah, just waiting for Wayne to come on in now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing more of the same. I mean, Wayne's always been one to go for those roach openings and worked pretty well in the first game. Why not go for it again? I think we're going to be seeing something more aggressive coming out from Vindicta.
Yeah, I hope we don't see the attempted Raven opener. I don't know what's happening there. So my eyes are going to be on Migs as well. I do think that Oceanborn is a slightly better map for something like Roaches compared to Solaris. The rush distance by ground is a bit shorter, I believe, so you can be a little more assertive and aggressive. So as you mentioned, I wouldn't be surprised if Wayne does go for a similar style.
Yeah, also means for the Terran that more aggressive styles are going to be more effective. So Vindicta, just knowing what kind of player he is, I think there's a good chance that he goes for a 2cc opening on this map. Whether that's something defensive like a 2cc Banshee or something a bit more aggressive like the Cyclone openers. Both of those are going to be really good against Roach openers.
Oh yeah, and we'll see which one is chosen here. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have representing the Platinum Heroes, the American Terran. It is Vindicta.
And spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map for Starlight Twinkle, this is Wayne.
Once again, going for the 15-15 opener.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he's become quite fond of it, and as we mentioned before, this can lead, it doesn't have to lead into Roaches, but it can kind of seamlessly lead into that as we do kind of delay our gases and skip link speed. That's something very viable, and I'm sure it's also in the back of Vindicta's mind, like the Roach play.
Yeah, it's going to be another safe opening coming out from Vindicta. Not going to be going for a CC first or anything, just because it's probably a bit risky against someone like Wayne, but yeah, I also feel like something that's been kind of interesting is ever since Vindicta has retired, I feel like he has been playing with a bit more comfort, I want to say. So just going a lot more to his comfort builds. I feel like previously when he played tournaments, he would want to try out the new meta builds just to kind of be keeping on top of things, and sometimes he would play a build that he hadn't practiced as much just because he wanted to be, you know, staying relevant with the meta, playing, you know, proper tournament strategy. But I do feel like playing to his strengths and playing builds that he's more comfortable with is something that is going to work out a lot better for him.
Yeah, it's definitely something that can do so well for you just because you're more comfortable, you know, you're more well practiced, and you can excel even with something that's quote unquote a little bit off meta or a little bit considered subpar. You can still achieve so much. I mean, look at Gumiho. Like he's like the apex of that, right? Where you just do your own thing, papi, and hey, you can get second place in DreamHack Young Shipping, so you know, you do you.
Yeah, I feel like mixed strengths lie in late game and lie in defensive play. So I think, yeah, not playing, you know, the top meta aggressive builds, but playing more to a bit of a later game is something that's going to work out quite well for him, even against someone as strong as Wayne. I actually think Migs can 100% hang with Wayne in a later game.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we've even seen Migs go toe-to-toe with some of these other Korean Zerg players in the late game as well. So I want to believe that he can do the same. Behind this, though, is just getting into the rest of his opener as well. It is going to be a 3cc opener here from Migs.
Yeah, it's defensive. Again, we're probably going to be seeing a very similar game.
Up! Oh, As
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. The Reaper goes down, but he sees everything he needs to see. He sees that gas has been mined, and he sees that there's no link speed. So he's just double checking right now that he's not getting cheesed because there's no third that's gone down yet. But he should know that this is probably just going to be defensive roach play.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Okay, so there's quite a lot going on here. As you mentioned, there is no third, which is like ringing alarm bells, and Migs does check after the scan does complete, after the Reaper goes down. We start up the layer immediately. Second gas is being taken. This should still be roaches, but the longer this goes on without a roach warren, link speed is started. Are you feeling mutaplay?
Actually, I think this might be a Lingnitis, but I'm not really sure yet.
Oh.
Bayoness goes down. Vindicta is reacting as if this is 100% going to be a roach attack. He got a very early tank, which you just never really do unless you're trying to blind counter like a 5 or 9 roach push. He gets a bunker at the front as well. So yeah, Vindicta 100% thought this was going to be a roach push. He's looking to blind counter it, and very good read by Wayne to not go for that. But yeah, Vindicta sees the finishing layer. That's going to be confusing. I'll just say that.
Exactly, and there it is. The Spire is thrown down. Wayne did take 2 gases here at his natural as well. If he hadn't taken the gases, I would have 100% agreed with the Lingnitis all in. And Migs, as you mentioned, did see the researching spawning pool. So yeah, Wayne just trying to take some different turns, some different twists. Migs, I'm sure, a little bit confused as well, but he might be able to piece together that this could be a mutaplay.
Yeah, Migs is going to be fine against mutas. He's skipped his starport to go for an early 3 Raxes, and he's getting a faster stim as well, so he should have the marine count that he needs to deal with this. I think he'll be absolutely fine, but it does mean that he's going to be in a bit of an awkward position, just kind of penned back into his bases. And yeah, we do have this SCV just dipping in. He wants to see how many drones are at the third here. He sees some drones, so he knows that he's probably not getting like Ling Roach all in or anything like that.
Yeah, he's just basically gathering information this entire time with all the scans, with all the scouting. It's been really good stuff here, as we're just going to be taking additional gases as well. So Wayne going to be doubling down here on muta production. No Evo chambers either. We're skipping 1-1 for the time being. Hyperfixated here on mutas, and we'll see if he can keep up. Again, Migs still doesn't have confirmation, but he does have Marines in position. There we go. We have turrets on the way. He knows.
Yeah, he puts it together here. Makes a lot of sense. We're seeing, wow, a lot of scans, a lot of resources being expended by Migs. It is actually going to be fine that he's doing that in this situation, just because he's gone 3CC. He recognizes that Wayne's third is extremely delayed, so he can get away with losing a little bit extra here. But it does worry me. Once these few mutas come out and Wayne has Migs pressed back into his bases, he's going to be able to drone up to 80, 90 pretty freely.
Yeah, he will have map control. He's going to be able to drone up so freely there. 4th base is on the way. Mutas are moving out towards the would-be 3rd base. Turret is in production. There are plenty of Marines spread throughout the bases as well. Stim is done, but we'll see if Migs can keep up. We have gone up to how many? 7 mutas so far. Only 7, as we are now getting into our Evo chambers, now working on those 1-1 upgrades.
Yeah, we stim and medevacs, he should be completely fine. We do see a little bit of Lingbane coming out. That should be just generally for safety here, but yeah, it's going to be annoying here. Throws down that corruption on the eBay, but he gets armor, unfortunately.
Oh, unfortunately, also losing one of those mutas to the Marines as well, so good pick off out of Migs. At the same time, going to be sending out a couple of Marines. He does get eyes on the 4th, on the building 4th, so Migs, he's aware of at least the base saturation. And yeah, Wayne, he only invested enough mutas for map control. From here, he's hyperfixated on Lingbane and on droning.
Yeah, so there we go, Wayne already up to 80 drones. He should be in a pretty comfortable spot here. He's getting to creep unabated as well, even though he does have a few less queens than you normally would in this situation. He's managed to cover a good amount of these bases.
Oh yeah, exactly. Connecting all the bases. Mutas, they rotate around towards the left-hand side. They do catch a couple of SCVs here, delaying some of these Raxes as well. But Migs is just transitioning into Biomine, which will do wonders here against the Lingbane muta of his opponent. Has to be covered with those medevacs though. Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be the kind of game that Vindicta's pretty comfortable in. He basically has to play for either a late game or a big 3-3 push here, so he will be totaling up, just trying to keep safe and using little bits of harass here and there.
Exactly, and For now, he's just kind of pinned back because of those mutas. Eventually, we should be able to break free and get into some drop play. Wayne did reinvest into his mutas. He's up to 16 now, so he has a pretty hefty amount that has to be respected. Hasn't found any major damage yet, but there is potential.
Yeah, that bunker from Vindicta is great. Really good scan as well. He really wants to see the hive timing, wants to see when that transition's coming out. Once he does see that transition, that's going to be his sign to push. And yeah, there we go. He is starting to gather up his biomine at the front here.
Yeah, he's getting ready for his eventual move out. Still just trying to catch some of these mutas as they do pivot between those bases. As you were mentioning, with the hive finishing up, we could try and get ready for spellcasters and maybe even ultras later on down the line. But for now, Wayne, he's just remaxing on Ling Bane, and he has quite an army already.
Yeah, it looks like Vindicta's working towards a 2-2 push here. He's got a few Thors coming out, so if he can time his 2-2 to finish up when he has about 3 Thors, it's going to be a great time for him to move out.
Oh, exactly, and he starts to wait a little bit longer for that, so he's still going to be pinned back at home. And while he's pinned back at home, Wayne, he's just spreading creep, knocking down all these rocks as well, just taking control of Oceanborn. And once that hive finishes, we can of course start taking up a little bit further. Mutas making their way in between the bases. They still haven't dealt any major damage yet, but we are committing into the main.
Yeah, we're getting into the kind of meter count where turrets don't really matter, and yeah, just like that turret goes down. Vindicta's going to have to start doing some cute little moves that we see players like Clem doing quite often, like ferrying around that Thor with metabacks, and he looks like he is already pre-split pretty well between the bases. He's keeping on top of this attack by Wayne as well, but yeah, once again, Wayne going to be going for the same strategy as that last game, just stopping the fourth from getting put down, and just wave after wave will be crashing in at this point.
Exactly, just deny the fourth. That's the win condition here for Wayne. The mutas, they do deal some damage. 7 SCVs went down. We got another contamination on +2, which does delay it even further, as the mutas are going to be able to pick off so many of these Widow Mines as well, just clearing the path for the Ling Bane.
So it's a little bit exposed, but oh yeah, these Banelings, they need to be avoiding the mines. Fantastic trades for Vindicta, and this is going to line up perfectly with his 2-2 push. I think it will have a really nice push now.
Oh, exactly. Did lose a tank, did lose a couple of Widow Mines, but his Marine count is still looking solid. Fourth base is now getting up and running because Wayne did kind of rotate around, did allow this to occur. Creep is being denied, and Wayne is looking to be, Migs is looking to be a little bit of a better position.
Yeah, I'm really liking this game for Vindicta now. He's in a much better position leading into the Ultra transition. Looks like these units are going to be caught out just a little bit. The Baneling's going to be stopping those reinforcements from coming in, but the Thors are getting massive shots on those mutas. Vindicta going to be chasing after those, and yeah, I think this is where he can start to transition into that 2-2 push.
Yeah, the mutas overextending quite a lot, actually. The Thors going to town. Good kiting back as well. The juggling on the Thors, we keep them alive, and we should be able to deal with this. The splits.
Yeah, some really nice micro coming out there. Good damage going down on the mutas as well. I really liked those libs just zoning out the queens, stopping that creep from getting established. And this is starting to look a little bit scary for Wayne, but the first few ultras are coming out, so he should be completely fine versus any ground push.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting into that ultra corruptor transition. Most of the mutas did go down. That was 15 dead mutas in that fight. Again, an expensive loss, and quite a lot of gas down the drain there. We still also don't have our ideal upgrades. Kindness plating is going to finish up. 3-3 just now starting here for our Zerg player. The Ultras, they are soon to arrive, but they're only going to be 4 of them.
Yeah, 3-3 for Vindicta coming out as well. We can see he's cutting a little bit of production just to get some extra CCs started. I do think that's a really good idea. That's something that we see. Mario used to do this a lot when he's playing against meta play like this. He would just basically cut any extra Marines, because the Marines are just not that helpful once the Ultras come out, and instead go for a lot of orbitals. So I'd love to see Vindicta going for that kind of play and just turtling it up.
I'd love to as well. Meanwhile, the armies are going to be clashing. We do have some harass coming in from Vindicta. Oh, a bit of friendly fire from that Widowmine, though. It looks like we can maybe catch a Thor, but the juggling once again.
Yeah, the anti-mine micro from Wayne is fantastic, and there's just not that much here to deal with these Ultras. So, unfortunately, Vindicta getting caught out on the map there.
Yeah, exactly. Was caught out. Ghost Academy still on the way here. We are not ready for the Ultra switch, for the Ultra transition. And Wayne, he has some momentum going his way. Migs still just stuck back at home. He did lose a big chunk of his army, and there's no moving out for Migs.
Yeah, we've got Meta Corruptor here as well, just to deal with any Liberators, and I think Vindicta might just be dead. I think he just got caught in transition here.
Yeah, exactly. Was caught with his pants down a little bit. Big mind shot's going to be going up on a lot of these Lings, but as you mentioned before, how can we deal with these Ultras?
Yeah, Bailing's here as well now. Vindicta's army split between his bases, and yeah, that's just going to be it.
Exactly. We bust into the natural. We're in the main base as well. Camping the production. Migs did very well keeping up with Wayne for so long, but GG gets called, and Wayne will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round.
GG is called, and unfortunately, that is going to be the end of Vindicta's run.
It will be the end of Miguelito here, but he did well for himself, you know, taking down No Mercy earlier and even going toe-to-toe with Wayne as well. Unfortunately, wasn't quite able to keep up. Yeah, Wayne just having full map control, droning up to 80, as you mentioned before, right, having a solid economy behind it, and yeah, was able to get into those ultras just before just before Migs really had an answer for them.
Yeah, that was very well played by Wayne. He was in control from start to finish, and Vindicta never really got to get himself off the ground. I really liked his plan of just sending out little bits of harass there, trying to clear up the creep and get himself set up to start taking a fifth and getting those extra orbitals. But yeah, getting caught on creep when he was doing that transition was kind of the beginning of the end.
Oh yeah, it was, and it ended very quickly. Like things escalated very quickly out of control, and you know that's StarCraft sometimes, especially ZvT. Like it's a very fast matchup, like very little room for error, very unforgiving, and you know my heart goes out to Vindicta. I wish him the best, especially if he keeps streaming and if he keeps laddering. I do wish him the best. Check him out over on his own Twitch channel. You know he is streaming his POV at the moment.
Yeah, Vindicta_SC2. But yeah, exactly. Against a player of the caliber of Wayne, you can see this with all the top EU users. They're just a little bit too clean with their transitions, too clean with their follow-up pushes. Everything's coming in, you know, push after push after push. And if you slip at any one particular point, it's going to be pretty hard to catch back up.
Oh yeah, exactly. Ooh, and you know that's how brutal these qualifiers are. That's how brutal they can be. As we are getting ready here for our next matchup, !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket. Just to quickly let you know though, up next, Wayne, he's going to be advancing on. He has his next opponent. It is going to be Creator.